Apparently, if you want to be famous on YouTube, you'll have to get a cat and film the cat. And you'll have to do it well, hopefully. Hello there. Good day, sir. Take two. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry for the little energy. I'm not Jeb Bush, so no low energy here. Well, yeah. Good morning, and I am the professor that never was in academia. Well, I'm currently a student, so that's pretty weird. But I would like to be a professor, but I can't because academia is fucked. Well, that is not the point of this video. It's to talk about Brexit, and it's a little late, but I don't care because, well, Article 50 hasn't been a vote yet. Brexit, of course, is that Britain is leaving the EU, which is fantastic because the EU is, well, I'll talk about that later. Brexit hasn't happened yet, and Article 50 is, of course, how you leave the EU legally. Yeah, I guess so. Without inciting violence. And yeah, should have had my goddamn papers with me. I didn't. And so it sort of takes 2 years for this, democratic referendum to expire, and then they will remain. And we come to this new character. Well, she's quite old, but, new in the sense that she's a prime minister. And the prime minister is the one invoking Article 50. And that... She was pro-Remain, to start with, to remain in the EU, and that worries me a bit. Theresa May, yeah. Please. Well, she has said that Brexit means Brexit, and hopefully she means it. And well, she wouldn't have the country on her side. Well, maybe Scotland and Northern Ireland, but not the whole of England, which mainly was the ones voting out. And well, I'm a little worried because we haven't got through that yet. It isn't finished. It's unfinished business. Thanks to you, Theresa, because you're a bit slow. And now, why leave the European Union? I mean, most people don't know a lot about it, I would assume, because it isn't your country, it isn't your parliament. It is, though, if you're in the EU, a very sort of, it controls a lot. A lot of the laws are made there, and I think for Britain, and that must be true for every other country, I hope. It was between 50 and 75% of the laws that were made in European Union, and it kind of varies from there. And 75%, that statement was made by Nigel Farage, a very pro-leave person. He was kind of the face of the campaign, mostly. And he... I don't know if it's true. It could be less. Don't take my word for it with the facts. Please check it out yourself. The purpose of this video is just to get you out and read about Brexit and read about the European Union as much as you can. And well, so you have the laws. You have a very the political system is crazy because none of the officials, none of the people who work in Brussels, it is in Brussels, the European, kind of where they make the laws and stuff, they aren't elected. They get a lot of tax money as well, so that's pretty bad. They earn more than your average prime minister, which is also horrible in a sense, because the load of tax money shouldn't go to them, and it's a lot of tax money that could be spent on, healthcare, maybe, the NHS. I don't know, but I'm trying to get back to the point. See, trade is also a pretty bad thing. I'm not gonna be able to speak about that too much because trade isn't exactly my expertise. It isn't basically, but you have this sort of single market, and we get access to the single market, and that's supposedly great, but not for small business. What I've heard from small business owners is that the regulation is too there's too much regulation, and why the England, or say Italy or Denmark joined, was supposedly to unite the continent and get access to this single market, which is apparently something great, but no, I don't think so. It's just what's good for an economy is competition. I like capitalism a lot. This competition, it sort of sets the natural order, which sounds pretty brutal because there are often more winners. No, there are often more losers than winners, and that's pretty horrible. You could say, but getting into my more emotional argument, well, yeah, maybe more pathos, I don't know. That's because I'm a teenager and I'm better at the emotional arguments because, my brain isn't fully developed. I don't know. Well, think of the kids. Think of my generation. Fuck is... Oh, it's the cat. Sorry. Wait. Yes! Well, yes. I'm sorry for that. You can keep a cat in the attic, because that would be bad for the views, I guess. Sorry, Bamse. But that's just the way it is. Well, I let him out. That's basically what I did. Well, sorry for that. But getting back to Brexit, you're right. The emotional argument. Think of the kids. Think of, I'm gonna grow up with the EU. I have been, and knowing things could be better is because, you can probably see where my bias lies, because everyone has a bias, and human beings aren't really the most objective people in the world. So, I think every country would be better off with, having these nation states. I am a bit nationalistic, and I think that is more important than globalism, because nationalism is what has driven greatness, and it's not. I don't know if you know the Golden One. He has talked about nationalism a lot, and he he basically said that nationalism is love. Love for your country, not despising anyone else. Like thinking that we are better, that we, it's about I know, it's about loving your country, and that's a bit altruistic, and I think that's more important than, like connecting the fucking world. Well, globalism has brought some good things, trade, but trade has always existed. Believe me, that's what I've learned from history, that, you can have these nation states, you can still have peace and trade and prosperity, and yeah, that still exists. And, and fuck! Well, sorry. Those motorcycles. I'll go and, take care of them later. Snapping their necks, I meant. Well, no, obviously not, because they would probably kill me. But getting back to the point. Well, this, it's going to be better, as you could observe from history. Competition in general accumulates better things, and when you have like this fucking gonna be dictatorship, I know one person from the European Union, and his name is Claude Juncker, and he has a pretty esteemed position when it comes to the European Union, and he is anti-democratic, and you may be anti-democratic, but I'm not, so it's fucking horrible. And a European army, a European anthem, I think they have. That's kind of destroys English, Italian, French nationalism. And, hopefully Brexit is going to happen, but I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully, I can only hope. Well, the last argument is probably the most important and the least PC, and that is immigration. Well, if you're a woman, you might be turned on about, having the immigration, having, a more aggressive tribal people, coming in and taking over, because, women always love the victors, and, you can see this with the Germans, taking over France, and the French girls, getting together with the victors, the Nazis, and it's gonna happen here if we don't stop it. And here's the thing, I'm okay with immigration, well, not if they're Muslim, because if you look at any Muslim culture interacting with, say, Hindus, it ends in shit. If you look at Europe, what has happened, it's shit. It's from what I've learned from Islam, it's pretty like us against them, and I'm sorry to say, but we gotta we probably gotta adapt that mentality too, because it isn't going away on their parts, uh, on their part. So um, it's just I'm thinking, and as you know, it's pretty slow thinking, but uh, you know, I have no problem with general mass immigration if you don't have a welfare state. The welfare state works if the population is consistent. You know, if you have that many taxpayers, that you know, or this many like that go on social welfare or blah blah blah. But when you okay, say you're an immigrant and you have lived in a shitty third world country, and what you know, you get to this place where it's things are relatively stable and peaceful and you know great, and then you get this welfare check. If you can go on welfare, you don't need to work. You don't in a free market where you don't get the welfare check, you are forced to work, and you it's I don't know, it's that's just baffles me, you know. How could we I mean, it's Angela Merkel's fault. Yeah, that's right. uh come in, destroy everything. Oh Christ. Well, you know, hopefully it all works out. But the grim reality is that the welfare state is collapsing because, you know, of the overbearing weight of immigrants taking welfare checks. They are going to take that alternative when they're when you know, what are you gonna do? What okay, many work, low skill jobs. And we're gonna get into an intelligence. Yes, we are. Well, I'm a bit, you know, the Jews and the North Asians are probably more intelligent than I am. By about 5 or 15 points, I think. I think it's 15 points for Jews, and it's 5 extra points for North Asians. Good job. You know. Well, yeah. So I pretty much covered this with the welfare state, and that it's just if you go on welfare, you're not gonna stop. You know, until the system explodes. It's sorry, it's pretty fucking horrible, but sorry. Well, intelligence. If in the Middle East there has been a lot of inbreeding, you know, with your first cousins, Allah wills it. Fuck, you know, thick. This is it's pretty disgusting, and the ramifications are that you know, the ramifications are pretty low intelligence, and I believe in the Muslim community, it's about the average is about 85, I think, and that's pretty low. And you know, for whites, it's about 100 points. I don't claim to be an average, but you know, that also makes it a problem, a language barrier, because you know, the higher intelligence, you're going to learn the language faster, you know, be able to integrate, be able to work, you know, you have a greater will to work. If you have higher intelligence, you're probably gonna get a better job, and yeah, don't forget the rape. The rapes have skyrocketed as well. And, you know, we can solve this by Brexit, by exit. I don't know, is that Italian? Italian exit? You know, the Netherlands, the Danish, you know, and the French, I think, they are the ones that are considering a Brexit. And, well, mostly in the Netherlands and Denmark. So, yeah, this, it has to happen. More Brexits. And I have a funny feeling that Theresa will not. She will, you know, make excuses, and this will just keep on. I'm a very pessimistic guy. I think Hillary Clinton is gonna be elected, and that fucking blows my mind in a negative sense. And, you know, yeah. I think I've got all my points across, you know, immigration, intelligence, the welfare state in general isn't gonna work because it rides on it rides on what is it? Capitalism, of course. You know, the capitalism of the 19th century, the 19th century and the 20th century. That's where socialism comes from. Capitalism made thousands and millions and, okay, not trillions, but yeah, millions of jobs. Ooh, what the fuck? And now we're just gonna ride on the back of that till everything collapses. And yeah, it's just please, Theresa, if you're ever watching this, Brexit! My fellow Americans, this is not as a shitty video as it seems, hopefully, because, yeah, hopefully you didn't hear that as much as I did, but, yeah. So what I want to talk about is Brexit, and fuck.